Hello, hi. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Divide and Conquer's ReRoll podcast, where we just talk about things. Tonight we have A Shane and we have Dickie. As we're just gonna
Hello.
do casual, just chill,
Greetings and salutations.
just chilling, and then just hanging out. Um, Nothing really scheduled for today's conversation. A couple of our members are not feeling well, so our questions will be, I guess, drawn mostly from audience today. But just a general check in. How are you guys doing today? How are you feeling?
I am feeling tired, but other than that, I am fine.
Yeah.
I'm feeling all right. I got my last day at work tomorrow with my cemetery job, and then later this week I'm gonna start working with dogs. And who doesn't love dogs?
Yeah, that's very exciting. So in your spooky cemetery job, have you seen anything? Has there been any like weirdness happening around?
Paranormal activity.
No, no.
Of course, you don't go there at night, too.
Yeah, no. Don't go there at night.
Fair.
But honestly, the place that I work at, like, it's very nice grounds, and it feels like a very peaceful place. So I wouldn't expect any kind of spookiness.
So you highly recommend it for anybody looking for a place to rest for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean,
that works.
yeah, it's a nice place.
I like the what was it? It was in The Crow, or like one of the girls in the show. I forgot what her name was, but the skateboarding girl. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna tell me not to hang out at the cemetery? And like, why wouldn't you hang out at the cemetery? It's probably one of the safest places on earth. I'm like, why? It's because everybody's dead. Like, what do you got to worry about?
Yeah. I think one of my favorite Terry Pratchett quotes. Somebody asked him in an interview about whether or not he feared death, because death is such an amicable character in the Discworld books.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, no. Why would anyone fear death? Death. Well, the unknown. Oh, the unknown doesn't worry me. It's the here and now that worries me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that devil that you don't know versus the devil that you do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Well, I know that we do have a couple of games, so let me recap what's been happening in those games. For Rise of Tiamat, we are discovering what the spookiness in the forest was, and essentially we're fighting a dragon. And, yeah, that dragon be. Oh, hey, Shane. Remember when I told you that I couldn't really hear you very well?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay, well, now I hear you excellently well. It's because my microphone was turned up all the way to mic, not to the computer, so I wasn't able to hear anybody. But now I hear you very, very well. So
Wonderful.
let me turn you guys down back to 100. Maybe it's blowing out people's ears right now.
I apologize if my voice has been blowing out your eardrums.
Okay, now everything sounds so good. Okay, I'm so glad. Oh, I can hear people well. Oh, this is amazing. Great.
Hallelujah!
Exactly.
Praise the Lord!
Yep.
Magic works again.
Medic. Oh, it's like, why is it being so? It's probably when I grabbed the mic, I just twisted something. But yeah, so now we're fighting a green dragon that has a very specific name. I forgot what it's called. It's not Chol, something like that. Which I drew him in our booster match that happened this.
Really?
On Sunday, which was yesterday, we had our Magic Night, which is an alternating show that goes along with Dickie's classic throwbacks. And I drew, because we did a draft, I forgot what the blue dragon's name is, and then the dragon that is in Rise of Tiamat, and then I drew also Tiamat. So that was pretty gnarly. Which I'm so happy to drew Tiamat. It's like a $30 card.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
You drew Mama Bad Dragon.
I drew Mama Bad Dragon. In our Arthurian games, the players are currently facing the Frost Maiden, because I didn't want to run the campaign, but I saw the image of the character. I'm like, this is too cool not to use. So I thought of a way how to use her. Essentially, the two players worship the same god, which is just nature. And during that time era, probably the Romans would be calling that god Terra. So I decided that can I incorporate the Frost Maiden, who is a literal god in D&D, into this world. But the goddess is a goddess of winter and nature, so like why would they fight their own god? So they're technically fighting 1/4 of their god. And they're gonna find out very, very soon that anytime they cast anything towards the Frost Maiden, they're actually need to roll me percentiles, because they'll have a 25% chance of that not affecting the goddess at all. For our Friday games, we have our Star Wars game, which this is going to be the last episode. They're fighting the Sith Lord, this necromancer, which was a little bit of a I keep wanting to say mouthwash, but that's not the right word. Like a palate cleanser. There we go.
Palate cleanser.
Because we do a lot of medieval fantasy, so let's do something I know nothing about, and it's Star Wars. Let's go to space.
Yeah, that's one of the things I actually really love. I'm part of a bi-weekly Starfinder stream. Next session's actually this Wednesday, and it's just so nice to play a sci-fi game. Because I love sci-fi, but I don't get to play sci-fi very often.
Yeah,
Are you an alien or a human character?
I am playing an alien character. I'm playing I'm playing a character that they're called Isoki. They're basically rat aliens. They're like rat folk.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm playing an Isoki technomancer named Warpsick.
Technomancer, I like that. So magic, but with a technology twist to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and like a lot of the spells are very similar. Like I can cast grease or heat metal and things like that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Cool. Yeah. I know that me and Dickie talked about this already in like the last podcast or the one before that, but it was just it was so hard, or is, because I'm still playing it, to like write for that, just because it's not my comfort zone and I have nothing to relate to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah. And then the last game that we're doing is a bi-weekly game that Dickie runs, which is the Village of Vigilantes game. Which, if I remember correctly from our conversations, it could also be ending, at least that chapter.
We might either going to finish this Sunday, or if not, it'll probably go into the next one for sure.
Yeah.
And again, I'm tap dancing as fast as I can because you guys are going a little bit faster than I'm anticipating. But this time I've got the ending, so just to see how long that takes.
Yeah. I really dig it. So a little bit like pulling the curtain back. When we posted the last episode, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's slight spoilers, but we essentially there is a clergy member of this small community who's in contact with a different being, and they're trying to grab a whole bunch of worship for this being. And we have the spear that is the only thing that can destroy this entity, this aquatic other being from a different plane. And when we posted
pure evil from all times.
Pure evil from all times. When we posted it, we got a guidelines violation on Facebook. We weren't allowed to post it because it said it was it defied the guidelines for politics. And I was like, did you guys watch the episode? Because like the post literally said nothing political. It just was, hey, here's a link to our to the game. It's out on YouTube. Go watch it. That's
The only
all it
political
said.
thing, yeah, the only political thing that's said on it is that this minister does not like superheroes and feels like everybody should be against him.
Yeah,
So
but the
how
only way,
that's realistic is beyond me.
yeah, exactly. And like the only way you can like know that is if you first watch the episode, and secondly, there's no text or any information on there. The only thing that I think could be is that it's the intro is a news anchor situation,
Yeah.
and like maybe they saw that it was like not a credible quote unquote news source, so they say there was a violation. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's stretching it.
Yeah, very, very much of a
They
stretch.
might have been pissed off too that you guys broke into a church.
That's, I mean, they could have. Yeah, we broke into the church. It's a no-no, and we we stole the gun from the priest. You know.
Yeah. I may have I've mentioned this in like private chat and stuff, but it's still a fun story to share with the audience. Is
Please.
I recently got my first community guidelines violation on TikTok,
Yeah.
which I've been proud that I haven't gotten any yet, but I got my first community guidelines violation because I was sending a private message to Jesus, and we were talking about Nightwing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were talking about Nightwing, and I was talking about his new dog that he got, and I said the phrase, Dick named her Haley after the circus he grew up in, and I sent it and immediately said, this message goes against our community guidelines.
Yep. Because you said the word dick. Like that's a name.
That's a name.
Sorry, Dickie. Your name is a violation of
What
TikTok.
can I say?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
your
people
your
don't think
name.
I'm real.
Yeah.
They think my name's a porn name.
Oh, okay.
My last name is Stone. So
You know what, Dickie?
You know
I
what?
didn't even think about that. Oh shit, that's beautiful.
yeah.
That is a beautiful porn name. So, what's your name, sir? What should we put it under? Dickie Stone. Oh, that's great.
No,
That's a great.
Dick Stone.
Dick Stone. That's a great alternate name. No, that's my real name. Oh, you're gonna make it great in this business.
Yeah, right.
I actually really loved it. A while back, I commissioned Vic for some art for a Masks New Generation show that
Yes, yes.
I was a part of, where we played that tabletop game, and we played as the Teen Titans, and it was shortly after I commissioned Vic that I realized we were getting a piece of Teen Titans artwork made by Vic Stone.
Oh yes, because that's what's this,
Cyborg.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It was hilarious.
Isn't that
Funnily enough, Cyborg isn't even a member of this lineup.
Oh, okay. Cause I was gonna say, isn't his when he infiltrates the hive, and he goes in like incognito, and he like disguises himself as this, since Cyborg is super strong normally, his like quote unquote superpowers when he disguises himself was just like he turns to stone. Wasn't that like his alternate ego was just stone?
Yeah, his disguise in the TV show, he called himself Stone.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
It just goes full circle.
yeah, and it's really funny that if he tried that in the comics, everyone would immediately recognize him because he was a famous college football
Yes. Yeah.
star.
Yeah. Like we know you. We literally have stat records of you. Like
Yeah.
different colleges were looking at you. You're not blending in very well.
Yeah, Yeah, you're Victory Stone.
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
love comic books.
Yeah, they're it's a very interesting art form
Yeah,
because you can't
it's
even when like they do shows of these comics, because you're watching every single second of what's been happening. It's you're not thrown for surprises as easily as just by reading the panels.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The the classic throwbacks. I don't know. I've been thinking because I know that you were saying that we're going to when this is over, we're going to see if we go to a different game or if we just stick to Visions of Vigilantes. I've really been thinking about that, and it might be too early to cast my vote, but my vote is probably going to be to like continue doing V&V just because
Okay.
I'm really digging my character and I just want to see how it progresses.
And you're seeing the growth of your character too.
Yeah, it's like no, it's too early, not yet. But I'm also extremely curious at Boot Hill Bill, just
Yeah.
Boot Hill Bill, just because
Right.
it's I have never played anything like that, so that's why I'm very curious. The spy game also seems kind of like
Boy,
how it's
that is teamwork. You're going to have to be a team in that. And there's certain missions that
Mhm.
are downright,
Mhm.
espionage. You got to be secret. You got to spy on people and stuff like that.
yeah.
And others are just kind of like paramilitary raid, and you're just coming in and saving people and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it just depends on which way we're going to go. And I got tons of modules on that
Oh, cool,
because
cool.
like on this module that I'm working with V&V, I the beauty of it is, like I said, they're all modules are fragmented. They're
Hmm.
not a complete running movie. They're just little parts here and there how you play it. And
Yeah.
that's why I get upset when I watch people online, play a module. I saw them play a Gamma World module, and they were just jumping from one thing to another. And I was just like, there's nothing smooth about that. I think you need to add a little story in between.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you guys kind of create the story as we go along. So that's the beauty part. But I did, and I will reveal it later on, I did do a major fuck up in the last one,
Oh, okay.
but I had to do a little homework and little, looking at things. And I said, aha, I can fix this.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fixed, and it's going to take a little interesting turn, you might say.
Okay. It's what was it called? Shoot. What does Bob Ross say? It's not a It's not a mistake. It's a
Happy
beauty.
little accident.
Happy little accident. There we go.
Yep, that's it is.
Um. Yeah. There's a thing that I used to beat myself up a lot when I was barely starting to play like to DM. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
I forgot to add the +2 to this, or this
Yeah.
person should have had this thing, and I really took this to heart when another DM said that the DM doesn't make a mistake. Like forgetting a rule from the book isn't necessarily a mistake. What's a mistake is if you wrote something and you intended for everyone to do blah, but then you said something else knowing you needed it to go the other direction. Like, that's your only mistake. If you
Yeah.
did something against what you wanted to do. Like, if you forgot something, that's not necessarily a mistake. The story didn't go in that direction. So, like you're doing, like, we quote unquote made a mistake and now we're fixing
Mhm.
it into something better. And it's like, that's, uh, that's cool. Like that's why I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
being behind the screen. It's like, oh, wait a minute, because there's been quite a few times where I'm like, oh, I did want them to blah 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 blah. Well, how can I
Right.
incorporate that into the next game? And then like
Right.
because of that, it sparks new ideas that flow even better.
And that's the beauty of playing the game weekly or bi-weekly, because you got all that time to do
Yeah,
research and put it together and stuff. I'll
that's
tell you the thing that really blew my mind about, because I haven't GM'd a game in God years,
hmm
and And then when you guys started playing this, I started thinking, well, this is going to work out pretty good. But I didn't realize that you guys were D&D players and you're playing superheroes and you guys are killing people left to right.
Yeah.
I said, oh, we got to do something about that.
Yeah, that's why any chance that I could, I would be like, out of character, I'm doing this. If anybody wants to stop me,
right?
Because like story-wise, my character, please stop this. And I know Vic's character's motivation, so like it makes sense. And the day that Jess could not be there, it's like, no, Jess, you're supposed to be on moral compass. Tell us to not do this. Because with the backstory, my character's, I wouldn't say a murder hobo, but
it's from ancient times.
Yeah, sometimes the easiest solution is just for this person to die, and I don't well, they don't understand. Well, why can't we just be seen? Well, that's like there's an entire complicated like structure with politics and with the trust of the people. Like you can't. Oh, I don't understand why that's an issue. Let's just do this thing. No, just don't do it, please. Okay, I won't.
Well, one thing that you did really played into the story. It wasn't planned. I didn't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But when you killed Blastin' Butch,
yeah,
and he had that guy hostage, and he was talking to him about the Spear of the Dallas.
Yeah.
And then that worked out to me. So I said, okay, I can use that. So I had to tell you, we were going to investigate him, interrogate him, but now we can't talk to him about that spear because you killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you understood you can't kill anymore. So I thought it was hilarious when you're battling Animus, a seal type person, and you were sticking in with the spear. I don't know if I should kill this person.
Yeah. Like, well, it's a little too late. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it's a very fun game. I've never. I played a superhero game one time, a very long time ago. We did. I think it was a GURPS system.
Okay.
I played. I named it after one of my favorite bands, the Misfits. He was just called the Misfit. And all of his powers were pretty much like a way for me to cheat death. He had a couple of forms. One, he went completely incorporeal, like he just turned into a ghost, so I could not interact with any matter on the planet, but I also couldn't be interacted with. So like I just turned 100% ethereal, and I can not be seen or heard, and I can just, it was like my spy mode. And then the other form was my zombie mode, which is I just regenerate so quickly that almost any damage that I take, it doesn't affect me. But I'm also extremely, extremely slow. So I'm just literally a walking corpse.
And I thought that was interesting about Vic's character because he has regenerative powers. Everything except flame. And what's the first thing he ran into when he got hurt with the flamethrower?
Exactly. My thought was like, oh, Dickie planned that. He's like, this character's a little strong. We're going to have to like put some reinforcements in there. And then it happened again. It was like, oh, you keep walking.
And Vic's the one that picked that.
Yes,
Vic
exactly. I was like, oh, don't fight that person. Oh, well, too bad.
Well, that's okay. Dysprosium got his revenge.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
By using his magnetic powers by crushing the guy in the suit with the flamethrower.
Yep.
Metal suit.
So. I love the depiction when because obviously they have the suit of armor. It's like, what are you gonna do? I can't do the death ray, so I'm just gonna go punch them. All right, you punched armor. Yeah, I know. I know. All right, my turn's up. Like, it's nothing I can do, but my character doesn't understand this.
Well, you're using the gravity power pretty good.
Yeah, gravity. Yeah. Once because when you were researching their abilities, and you can do it to more.
Both.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah.
I mean, that's your way of flying too.
Hmm. It's pretty
But
cool.
the other games we have, I mean, like you said, Boot Hill. I I was able to download a role playing cowboy game that I haven't read it yet, but the title of it gives me a little interest to it. The name Devil is in the title, but
Okay,
back in those days in the West, everything was a devil town, a devil this, a devil that.
true,
But
true.
just see how that is if you guys decide to go that route. Gamma
That
World,
sounds
I got
cool.
so many ways you guys can go. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see what kind of characters you guys create because you have a choice between a human, an animal mutant, or a mutant, or a plant mutant, or a cyborg. You know,
I like
Oh,
the.
so this is like a post-apocalyptic western.
it is. It is post-apocalyptic. Basically, my next book will be the time that I had these eighth graders play, and I kept notes on them. So
Mhm.
these characters are going to be kind of not very mature, even though they're grown people. They're just kind of out there a little bit.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
every single one
I
sounds
love a
exciting.
good, interesting setting
Hmm.
for a game. Like mechanics and things are cool and all, but like
Hmm.
what really draws me to different RPGs are the world and the setting and things like
Yep.
that. Like if you don't have an interesting like world to draw uh players in, then they're not going to be interested and they're not going to engage.
Hmm.
Yeah, which that's why I'm also really interested in the Boot Hill game because uh, we live in Texas. I know Shane, you live in
Right.
California, and we have
Yeah.
so much inspiration here. We can literally walk outside most areas or go to any mall or any store, and like we'll have inspiration for like the aesthetics of the Western game. And
Yeah,
it
I
came to my head
actually
was like I have never played nor heard of a Western style like RPG until you mentioned it, Dickie, and I was like,
Hmm.
how have
oh,
I
I've
not?
heard of a few. I've heard of a few, and I'm actually fortunate enough to have inspiration as well
Mm-hmm.
because the town I live in is a cowboy town.
Okay.
Right.
It was started as a cowboy town. Like the first person to settle in the town. That's actually who the town is named after. Just bought a big ranch from a plot of land from Mexico, and then the uh, town shortly started growing and growing. And
Mm.
I think we have the oldest. I think we have the oldest rodeo on the West Coast.
Really?
Wow.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've had like complex emotions with the rodeo, just because uh, I am I've been vegetarian most of my life, so the idea of the rodeo, like I love the aesthetics. Leather is an amazing, like, fun tool and artistic like expression, and like
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of cool things, and like the I definitely want to go visit the animals, and like it's just it's where I grew up, so I feel cool to just go and explore the aesthetics there. But then like there's the bull riding and all this other stuff, and I'm like, that kind of kills it for me. So I've never actually been to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Um, I hear it's a lot of fun from everyone. It's just I don't know. I can't like the when the every single sporting event that has to do with like outpowering an animal kind of just like I'll leave that to the fantasy games when it's not real.
I grew up going to rodeos. My dad was a cowboy, so I
Oh,
mean, it just
yeah.
I remember just going and watch, and I remember I saw one time literally a horse threw a guy off and then landed on his chest with both
Ooh.
hooves, front hooves
Eee.
coming down.
Yeah, that's
Got up, walked a few steps, dropped, and then the ambulance came, got him, and took him away. I couldn't
oh.
tell you what happened to him after that.
Yeah, oh man. I my uncle has a ranch and I go help out sometimes. He used to only have show horses, but he's been lucky enough that he's invested into cattle farming and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so, like, I think at the lowest point he had like 20 cows that he just had, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot of land for those cows. And
Yeah.
another one of my uncles was visiting from Mexico, and he was just helping out. He's like, "Oh, I've never like worked at a ranch. Like, let me give it a go." And when he was like cleaning the horses in their stall, one of the horses just like, I guess got spooked. Oh, new person. He was moving
Yeah.
way too fast, so the horse kicked him right in his arm, and like you can see the imprint of the horseshoe like in his arm, but he didn't say anything for the whole day. And you wake up when the sun rises, and you're usually
Right.
done working when the sun sets. And so we were all gathering together. We were making a large meal outside, and we're about to eat. And like my Thea was like, "Juan, what's that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, one of the horses kicked me." And like you still see the hoof imprint. And like, we didn't take you to the hospital. Like, you can't not say anything after that, my dude. Um, he's fine. He's just dumb.
I saw a horse bite my sister's arm one time.
Ooh,
Just,
oh, those
Wow.
teeth. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I
They're,
mean,
they're
yeah. But I mean, horses are so empathetic. They can pretty much read you as you are.
Mhm.
And if you're just a little bit off, they're not going to like you. I
yeah.
remember when I worked at the YMCA for a summer, we had to take these kids to this Y area where you can take them nature hunting or walking and stuff like that. And one of them was riding horses.
Mhm.
So I was a new guy there, and the kids said, "Hey, no, ride this horse. He's a cool horse. I can like that." Well, they set me up with the nut. This horse loved to run,
Mhm.
and he loved to throw people too. So, we went out there and kind of went riding, and some people passed me, kind of going a little bit faster. Well, this horse took off. And I mean, he's flying like crazy. And I'm sitting there on this saying, I'm staying on this horse no matter what. So I saw a field that was like a softball field. It just rained. It was full of mud. I mean, it was just drenched. He came running, and then I saw it. He came to a stop. I squeezed my knees against his neck. I didn't fall off that horse. He turned back and looked at me, and I looked down there and said, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'm still here." And he kept trying to get me to fall off or stuff like that, and I wouldn't do it. He didn't buck. He just
Yeah.
tried to run and try to lean one way, try to get me to go fall one way or the other,
Mhm.
and I never did. And so he finally decided, screw it, this guy, he ain't going anywhere. I might as well deal with it, get used to him and stuff like that. So yeah, horses are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I've never had an experience with the horses. When I was in negative experience, at least when I was in my like sophomore year in high school, um, I was in a like very antisocial year. That whole like just moved to a new location, lost all my friends,
Hmm.
was working uh, many hours a night with no pay, just because that's what you have to do sometimes because your mom
Right,
needs help, right? Like you have to
right.
work. So I needed a lot of just solo me time because that's also a place where like at time where my brain and is developing and I'm like just teenage angst, I guess. So every time we would have a party at my uncle's house, the one who had all the horses, I would just say, "Can I just chill with the horses? I'll just like be at the barn. I really don't want to talk to anybody." And everyone's like, "Yeah, sure, do whatever you want." So like it would just be me and the horses, and I'd always. This is back when CDs were a thing. Um, and I would just have like my boombox and play CDs and just like listen to like Cannibal Corpse and Cradle with the horses, and they were never upset with the music. Like it never startled them. Every time I would go to them, they would just like greet me and let me pet them. But there's been many times where I brought friends over, and like the horse would be like, "No, not this person.
Yeah,
I don't know about this guy."
that's because the music was relaxing you, so that's why they
Yeah.
pretty much felt comfortable with you.
Yeah, that's kind of where my brain was at the moment as well. It's like, oh, That's really, really cool. Yeah, horses are neat. I know
Yeah.
Ryan has a phobia of horses, but horses are neat.
Yeah, horses are neat.
We'll have to get him to play Boot Hill so that way we won't be afraid of horses.
Yes, perfect.
Or even better, play a Western game and have someone who has a crippling fear of horses.
Yeah.
I know that the Western aesthetic also like inspired a lot of like the when steampunk was really, really big, like in my college days. Everyone here that had their like the Victorian aesthetic, not us. Like we're from Texas, we're gonna have like a cowboy aesthetic mixed in with the steampunk
Right.
flair. And,
Yeah, no.
and it was it was
It
so
worked
cool.
really well for the show Wild Wild West.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Because
The movie, not so much.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
because when the Victorian era was happening, we still had cowboys here. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't these people interact in this the futuristic world?
Yeah. No, that's cool. It's actually one of the things I really like. One of my favorite steampunk bands, Abney Park.
Mm-hmm.
I have their RPG, Airship Pirates.
Oh, cool.
Super complex. Like I tried running it at one point and I just couldn't
Oh.
wrap my head around it. It's very complicated. You roll so many d6s. I feel like I'm playing Warhammer.
Gotcha.
But it's all set in an alternate history version of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The world that it's built on is like the new American Empire.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, like so it's this like steampunk wasteland where the free people of the world live in floating sky cities,
Yeah, yeah.
and the imperial cities have like caged off districts where mutants live, and things like that. And it's really cool. Like it's a wonderful world. It's just it was very hard to get.
Like for the mechanic
To-
purposes.
That's
For-
where you
for the
adapt it to your
performances.
style, though. You just take over the game and make it to where it works for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way a game's going to work with kids, the people that are playing it, is if the game master is comfortable with it, can make it work for them.
Yeah.
True. That's why I really like the fudge system because like you can pretty much get anything and work it into the fudge system, and it's just yes or no. Roll the dice. Did you get more yeses or did you get more nos? That's how it succeeds, and like it's such a simple system. I really enjoy the fudge system. On the steampunk topic, Shane, and I mean Dickie, you as well. Wolf actually helped write the Tephra system. He's in our Wednesday game, and that's a full steampunk game. Like some of the modules that you can get, like are like he's in there. He wrote them, and it's all it is 1d12, which I think is kind of cute because a clock has
Nice.
12 gear. So, yeah, he's. If you look at on our private Discord, that's why we have a little Tephra like tag.
Nice.
We did a one shot, but it was just private between us. Yeah, as long as you're not an alchemist, which things get really, really complicated, especially if you go into the realm of bioalchemy, it's a pretty straightforward game. It's a little
Wow.
bit more fantasy.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I played what's the equivalent to like a satyr rogue, and I had like a returning dagger, and pretty much it was just a drunk bard who stole from people. There is a
Nice.
race that is they're like fish folk, but they're angels. They just prefer to be underwater because they can use their giant wings to swim faster. Yeah,
That's actually brilliant.
yeah, it's a pretty cool system. But yeah, if you're ever interested, you can talk to him. He really likes that, which is so weird to me that he helped write the system, and I've never met him at all these steampunk events because I've I wasn't a cosplayer first or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, I went into steampunk, and from there, I started branching into like anime. And I never saw him at any of the tables or anything, which is bizarre. But
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's-
like we could have been friends so long ago, but we missed each other.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I really did like about Airship Pirates was there was a chapter about building your own sky cities,
Mm-hmm.
and like you rolled on tables and got different modifiers for certain things, so you could build a city, and like what what's the general income? Like, are they poor? Are they destitute?
Mm-hmm.
Are they wealthy? Uh, what kind of government do they have? Are they a democracy? Are they a religious oligarchy? A um are they a theurgy? Yeah, uh, are uh what's some kind of quirk that this town has? Um, like is in this town is being a homosexual considered the norm, and being heterosexual consider you a sexual deviant.
Yeah.
Uh, it's actually where I got for my Thursday game that I run for Vic and Tabitha and some other friends. Uh, I built this town on the edge of a swamp, and I rolled on these tables to build the whole town. And I rolled for the quirk of this town is that the founder really loved cheese.
Oh,
So
that's okay. Yeah.
so every year, on the founder's birthday, there's a cheese fair, and whoever makes the best cheese wins a prize.
Nice. Oh, cheese
Thank you.
fair.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah. It is really cool, and I love the world building for that game. It's just the mechanics were far too crunchy.
Yeah, which some people like that. That's the main argument that I get with the people who don't like 5th edition D&D. They prefer 3.0 or 3.5 because like no, I want to make this complicated character that when I jump, I add these things. So when this feat happens and this magical item like activates, like I'm doing 17d6 of damage. But if it's in this situation, it's 22d6 of damage. And like, I mean, if that's what you want, bro, then more power to you.
Right. Count me out.
Yeah, that's I just I want to roll my dice and I want to have fun.
Yeah, yeah. If you're having fun, then I'm not gonna
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna knock it, because whatever brings you happiness is what's best for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That would work.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other game, the Top Secret game,
Mhm.
it really took off back in the '80s and stuff like that. Now they keep adding new additions to it, and they get more and more political and more advanced and stuff like that. So I have to make a decision if we do play it. Are we playing it under 1980 rules,
Oh.
or do we play modern rules? Because there's no cell phones there.
Yeah.
Even though you
Huh.
may have a tie-pin camera or a pin that shoots bullets
Yeah.
or something like that. And in that, you'd have 4 different agencies or 4 different types of agents.
Mhm.
You could be a 00 agent. You know what that means. You're an assassin. You could be an agent from the second, and that would be an investigator. Or you could be an agent that's a thief. And then you also have the agent that's a technician. So that way you can kind of balance out your team how you want to do it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I like that.
There was one module I got. It's probably the most fun,
Mm-hmm.
called Operation Rapid Strike. And it's basically you're hitting this island where the scientist is held captive and you got to break into the island, get stuff like that. They have this tower with a spotlight with a guy and a rifle. It took people 3 or 4 times to play that game to get past that guy.
Oh man.
He would
Oh,
be picking people off left to right.
wow.
I'm going to the fence and cut it open. Bang.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, and I love there are some newer RPGs as well that are just super cool. Um, like my friend Will used to host a series here on Twitch on Mondays called One Shot Firing Range, where he would play a different one shot of a system that wasn't D&D or Pathfinder. And
yeah.
there are so many cool uh, RPGs with so many cool different settings and concepts. Like a few that really stick out to me is there's one called Threadbare,
Okay.
which is a post-apocalyptic RPG, but it's Toy Story. You're playing as living toys in a world without humans.
Okay.
Uh,
Are those like the like the one page RPGs?
uh well, this one I think had a bit more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a couple of one page RPGs like Lasers and Feelings, where you only rolled two stats, lasers or feelings. Uh,
Okay.
so any social roll you rolled feelings, any like uh, mechanical roll you rolled lasers, and you could do anything with that. One similar to uh, villains and vigilantes. Well, there's two. There's mutants and masterminds, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then there's the one that I really love playing, Masks: A New Generation, where you play as a team of teen heroes and go through the whole like stories of not only coming into your own as heroes, but like coming into your own as people as well. That one's really cool. Um, oh God, what's another one that I really loved? Misspent Youth. Misspent Youth is a
Mm-hmm.
relatively newer one that I love. And if you are a fan of punk rock,
Okay.
then Misspent Youth is definitely one that you should try because you're a group of teenagers in a dystopia that you create. That the group collectively creates the dystopia and the oppressive force that they're rebelling against, and it's just this really interesting RPG that lets you be the heroes in against an oppressive system.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's one that we're going to play with for Extra Life, Morkborg, which is a um, Swedish apocalyptic game. But every single like game that I see within the genre is like it's post-apocalyptic. After the apocalypse happens, what do you do? And this game says no, it's happening now. What are you
Oh,
doing
yeah.
now? You're not expected to survive the game,
Yeah.
and it's fairly like low power and it feels a little bit like D&D, but they're saying like you at the end it's a 50-page book and that's all it is, so fairly simple. You pretty much make a character that's expected to die, and you have like you pick what apocalyptic scenario you're going through. Like either these witches brought forth a demon, or here's some alien invasion, or like the plagues coming, and it's supposed to be really really grim dark. But I cannot wait to play it. Trent's gonna DM it or GM it.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's like
Sounds awesome.
another game that is kind of a dystopian society, but that you get to make like 5 clones of your character, everybody in the group, and you're basically trying to kill each other, see who's still alive at the end of the game, because you're going through all these traps, these mazes, and all this stuff. And sometimes you got to work together, and sometimes you just kind of push somebody out in front of something.
Yeah. I also have another RPG book of I've never played it. I never really looked too deeply into it, but there's a game called Eclipse Phase, which is like this grim, dark sci-fi dystopian future where humanity has kind of evolved to where they can transfer their consciousness into different bodies, kind of like Altered Carbon, but
Right.
you can do it into more than just human. So, like, the concept of transhumanism and what it actually means to be a person is, like, a heavy theme in that game. And, like, you could literally start a campaign with everyone waking up in new bodies and having to figure out, oh, you all died. How did you die?
Huh. That's cool. That reminds me of a book that Cindy was reading, where this person every single day they transfer their consciousness into a new person. So like they would just wake up and be in this little boy's body who's like a baseball player, and you're like, oh, okay, well apparently I have to go to school now to listen to all these rules and parents that I don't know. And then they would go to sleep, and the next day they would wake up in like an elderly person's home, and now they're in like an old folks home, and like so it continued on like that. And they found their the person they were going to. I think he transferred into this gay man's body, and they found like the person they were gonna like their soulmate, but he's like, no, I think they were like, damn it, I don't know what I'm gonna do because literally tomorrow I'm going to be a completely different person. And so they lied and said, I'm leaving town. If you want to keep up with me, hand me your information, your phone number, and we can like chat that way. And so they became they started dating via instant messenger, and they were dating for a couple of years. And one day they're like, hey, we should meet up. And they were like, they never told him because how are you going to explain to a person, I wake up every single day as literally a new person in this town. Like, I don't know who I'm physically going to be tomorrow. So they were like, when I see you, you might not recognize me, just letting you know. And they're like, no, just bring like the first book that we started talking about, and like I'll recognize that red cover. And they're like, it doesn't matter what you look like, don't worry. So like, okay. And they first met as they were a gay man, and now they're in a woman's body. But when they met the person they liked, the other partner also transitioned. So like, see, it doesn't matter what body you have. Like, I like you for who you are. And I was like, that's kind of sweet. I don't know how they're going to deal with the whole thing that the next day they might wake up in a literal new body. Like, that's a...
Did you ever see that show on Netflix called Travelers?
No, I'm not.
Oh, it's a great show. It's about people from the future living in a dystopian culture that's overcrowded and problems. And they send some people back to our time to stop the apocalypse and stuff like that. Now, the only way they can send people back is they have to time it exactly at the same moment somebody is dying.
Oh.
So they send a team back, and they all land in different people. and there were times that they were just about ready to, die. There was this lady, and she saw the librarian being mugged, and she went after her and tried to yell at the guys, and the guys beat her up and basically killed her. And then she woke up, and the guys kind of went after her. She kind of used some kung fu shit and tore them all up. And she became the team's doctor. She was the doctor, medical person. Another guy who was the oldest guy of the team, who was big on science and stuff like that, he went into the youngest guy that died during a fight club situation.
Yeah.
So he had to go back to high school and all this stuff. He's all like, shit, this is ridiculous. Why do I got, he kept calling his dad by his first name. He wouldn't call him dad. The guy who was the historian entered the body of a heroin addict. The leader of the team went into a cop, and it was played by the guy from Will and Grace. And then the one that was kind of a specialist in all weaponry and military and all this kind of stuff went into the body of an abused woman that was killed by her boyfriend.
No.
And she came back, started kicking butt and stuff like that. And it's funny, they all have numbers, So whenever they know somebody's going to be coming from the future, they meet them, they greet them, they say, hey, welcome 6824, welcome to the 20th century, 21st or something like that. It is really a good show. Unfortunately, it only went 2 or 3 years, and then that was it.
Huh.
But it's good. I highly recommend. It's called Travelers. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting show.
Yeah.
I remember also there was that show called Sense8, where there was 8 people who shared a consciousness.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting show. I didn't watch much of it, but when I did, they talked about some interesting themes. With the fact that you are sharing consciousness with 7 other people.
Wow.
So they can all experience your memories and can warn each other of danger and things like that. Yeah, that. I love some of the interesting things that people can come up with.
Yep.
Yeah, time travel is a hard thing to get right, but once you get it right, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Time travel is a tricky thing to deal with in media and actually just in most fiction.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that I think I've not found a show or something that time travel doesn't contradict itself. So when I watch people that or movies, that have it or stories that I read, if they try to fix the problem and address it, it tends to backfire on them from my perspective.
Yeah.
But if they're just it's a thing, don't worry about it, then it tends to be a much more fluid read or watch. It's why does lightning come out of this person's hammer? Don't worry about it. Just that's how it works in this world. I don't need to explain to you why the magic comes out of Thor's hammer. It's just it happens, and we agree that it happens.
Everybody's seen Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a perfect example of it right there. How the ending went.
Yeah. I did. I read something which is I think people are reading too much into it. I read something where I think it was Facebook, where it was if you watch Loki and you watch the WandaVision show on both last episodes at this exact moment on minute 27, when Kane says this, Wanda turns into the Scarlet Witch. That's the thing that's happening. I don't.
Some people just don't have a life.
I was I don't think that's what to the exact second. That's a lot of editing. Trust me.
That's the same people that write on Facebook. Okay, Batman versus Captain America. Who wins? I write in. Who's writing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally whoever's writing it.
Yeah. That was exactly what Stan Lee said with the Thor versus Hulk. It's no one's ever gonna win because they're both good guys, and we don't want them to like be mad at each other, and it's for funsies. Like
Yeah.
every single like, oh, Hulk versus Wolverine or Hulk versus this person. Like at the end of the comic, they just help each other out, defeat a bigger enemy.
Yeah.
And go their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hell, uh, there was that one time, or one of the many times, in like the '90s where they had the DC versus Marvel crossover.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those fights were determined by votes.
Really?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, I remember.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like some of them made sense, others didn't. Like I remember the Flash beating Quicksilver. Like everyone voted that, and when you read that, you're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Um, my favorite in those was reading the Tim Drake Robin versus Jubilee. They
Oh.
decided to stop fighting and go on a date.
That would make sense. Which one was the crossover where like, I forgot who it was. I don't remember what the villain was, but like it was Marvel and DC had to unite together to stop this great force, and like Captain America and Thor were like, "Oh, we're no match for them," but maybe the Superman guy. Like if we both give him our weapons, so it was like Superman with Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield, and apparently like that was the most ultimate like being in existence now. And it's like, have you read Superman comics? Omega Superman, like that
Yeah.
motherfucker literally held infinity in his hand. He held everything in his hands and glued it together when the world was being split apart. I don't care how strong Thor is, and he is my favorite superhero, by the way. Like, Superman does not need his hammer for help, let alone Captain America's shield. Like, it's mother effing Superman. Like,
Yeah.
that's no,
Right. I still love Superman.
yeah.
Here's a photo op. Picture was a Thor and hammer and shield. That's all
Yep,
it was.
that's exactly that was just so because it looks cool and to sell the comic and maybe toys. That's all that was. I agree completely.
Yeah. But I, yeah, and I get that. But hell, even my favorite superhero, Aquaman, has had some really cool moments that kind of don't make sense at times, like the time he choked out Superman.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Aquaman's strong, but he ain't Superman strong.
Yeah.
And it's just it's what do the writers want right now? What's
Basically.
yeah. That's yeah. I don't disagree with one of my girlfriends. Like, I can't read comic books with Superman because he's so boring. He's just gonna win. There is no challenge, because the story of Superman is what is it like for a god to live amongst humans? Like that's his entire story, versus like someone like I don't know, like Goku, which is a very classic. Who would win? Like Superman. Superman's always gonna win. Like I don't care how
Yeah.
strong Goku is, but every time you defeat Goku, he's just gonna like get stronger. Yeah, but
I'll say this:
can't-
I can give your girlfriend some Superman reading that
Okay.
that she may actually like, because
But you might like watching Superman and Lois because the biggest, toughest time Superman has is raising his two sons.
yeah, that would be a more interesting thing.
But like I really love certain writers for Superman, like well, actually I just love Grant Morrison in general, but his run on Action Comics was one of the few good things in during the New 52. All-Star Superman's amazing miniseries
Yeah.
that he did that like explores a lot of why Superman is the way that he is.
There is this I don't know who the author is, but it's like a very simple standalone issue of Superman where which is like I'm pretty sure is my favorite read out of anything I've ever held in my hands for like comic book related. Like Saga was a really close second. When Thor
Saga's a
rebuilt,
great one.
yeah, when Thor rebuilt Asgard in Oklahoma, that was pretty good. But this one, it was just like it's a simple standalone thing. Like it's not even multiple issues. I think Saga was like 4 or 5. But all it is this kid who's an abusive, has an abusive parent. Like
Yeah, I
the
know which one you're talking
yeah,
about.
that one is just so good. We're like I think
Yeah,
long story short.
yeah, he sees a bruise on Superman's cheek from a fight he had with a supervillain, and he
Yeah,
asks, "Does your dad hit you too?"
yeah.
Oh boy.
And yeah, and Superman just blew it. And I love the ending because it like there's so many signs like throughout the comic. Like the kid went to school with a bruised eye, and like was walking around in the middle of the street, like in his neighborhood. And, like the family's known to have an abusive father, but when everyone congratulates Superman for putting the father in jail because obviously he was beating his wife and his son. He just turns is like, why are you applauding? You could have done this. You don't need me to do this for you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm out there saving galaxies. You should have arrested this man. Obviously, you should pay more attention. And I was like, that's pretty good, man. That's some good
Yeah.
writing right there.
Yeah, like I love Superman. I think he's just a fantastic character, and as on the surface of him just being a godlike character, it's his humanity that I really love. Just his empathy for people, and I love characters that have empathy and can be relatable.
Yeah, there was this. I don't know what the story was or the issue was. I saw it as a like an image, but I think it was like Superman on a cloud, and he was just really sad because when he finally discovers that he has no limits and stops putting his own mental barriers um, as a limitation, he literally can hear every single person on the earth who needs help, and he's literally the fastest, literally the strongest, and the most like and can take anything. And even with all his strength and speed, he knows he's not fast enough to save everybody. And like when that dawns on him, it's like it cripples him. And I'm like, damn, that's some good shit right there. Like that's the type of writing I want to see Superman. I don't like him defeating Darkseid. Yeah, all right, that's cool, I guess. But like, no, that's the emotional part. That's what I want to read for a Superman comic. I want to see Captain America get beat up and stand up and says, "No, I can try." Like that's who I want to see. The person that I know
I can
can't.
do this all day.
Yeah, like that's such a great line for Captain America. When Superman says that, it'll be like, of course you can. That's
Yeah.
like now you're just showing off. Like nobody likes you anymore. So what's y'all's favorite superhero? Mine's Thor, obviously. Cause
Mine was the Fantastic Four.
okay, I think that they
Oh.
said that they're gonna. This might not be correct information. It might just be like fan speculation. But I think they said that when they bring the Fantastic Four into the new, whatever this new wave for Marvel movies are.
Marvel phase.
Yeah, I believe the Mr. Fantastic is going to become the new brains of like the Marvel universe because Tony Stark
Tony
is
Stark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm kind of not looking forward to.
for the new stuff. Why?
Well, no, just I'm not a fan of Reed Richards.
Okay.
Yeah, like I just don't like him as a character. I don't think he's a very good person. Um, I'm kind of in that kind of nerd who finds Reed Richards to be a very villainous character who does a lot of good, where Doctor Doom is actually kind of a good guy.
Wait. Oh,
But
okay.
as
So
comic
what's
books changed,
I was say,
Yeah.
what's your take on that, Dickie? Are we
I,
having some
I
internal struggle?
I don't know. Doctor Doom being a good guy, I can't see it.
Well,
Of course,
the
then again,
way
I've been out of comic books for over 40 years too.
well
So
Oh,
for
okay.
the longest time, one of Doctor Doom's sole motivators in life was to rescue his mother's soul from hell.
Yeah.
uh
Um, Also, he just hates Reed Richards pretty much. Um, but in his country of Latveria, while yes, he is a dictator, uh, and he his incredible intelligence and mastery of magic has helped his country thrive. So his uh, country has health care, they have agriculture,
They have no crime, like literally zero crime.
they have zero crime, and like and like there was that really great arc in Marvel Comics where Doom takes over Wakanda,
Yes, yes,
uh,
yes.
and he meets with the Panther God,
Mm-hmm.
and the Panther God looks into the futures and sees that the only future where there is no uh, suffering or want is the one where Doom is uh,
Yeah.
rules the world. The only thing that is holding Doom back is his own ego.
Yeah, because I think what the Panther God was saying, because even T'Challa was like, "Are you serious?" Because I believe you had to be pure heart and something else like to cross this barrier. And like even Storm was like, "I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm a good person, but I don't mess with gods." And T'Challa was like, I'm obviously these things because I am the Black Panther, so they crossed through, if I'm remembering correctly. And like like my understanding when I read that was like if Doom becomes a dictator of Earth, like you would do no wrong because your punishment is facing Doom. So let's just be a good person. Like his fear would make you not commit crime and not hurt others. So the only option you have is just live a peaceful life and be happy, which is
Yeah,
a complete dictatorship and very, very like BBEG lawful evil, but at least the planet would be okay and everything would thrive because Dude would give everyone their technology and like you would just have complete peace.
yeah. You wouldn't crime in this sense what is brought about by lack of I would say social infrastructure, like their mental health issues, whose poverty, you know, think, things like that. Those all do cause crime, and because people ha- don't have health care. People will need food and housing and things like that,
Yeah.
and they lash out and they do things in order to try and gain those things. And if in a world like where Doctor Doom has like taken over the world and has given everyone that and only asks that you obey the laws, like everyone's going to go, you mean we don't have to want for anything? We don't have to lower ourselves to doing indecent things in order to survive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can just wake up and go to work and uh, I like all I have to do is like wait, why should I go to work? Everything's given for me. It's great agriculture. So I can just wake up and write and like food will be provided for me and my family will be safe and like I don't have to worry about like my sister's medical conditions. Like
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Or
yeah, let's just live in a utopia.
like, hey, if my job is to deliver food to people, well, well, I deliver food to people, and nobody, you know, is going hungry or starving. Yeah, I'm gonna deliver food to people. I'm happy to do that. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part of the system that helps make sure that nobody is starving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's
Which is one of the things. Like Doctor Doom is still like he's a terrible narcissist and does things for his own personal gains.
yeah.
But in many ways, I would think that he's honestly kind of a would make a better hero than Reed Richards does.
I don't really remember reading much of the
Fantastic Four.
yeah, so like I don't know. I just knew
See,
that
I
what
read I read the first ones that came out, like when
Mhm.
they introduced the Submariner again,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
the Frightful Four, which was a good one with Medusa, the
Yeah.
Wizard, the Trapster, Sandman.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, those were good.
early Fantastic Four
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yes.
But as the characters evolved and things like that,
People
uh,
started getting them deeper, more
Yeah.
in depth characters and stuff like that.
yeah.
Which it goes with territory. Everything evolves eventually.
Yeah.
Once you start fleshing out characters, you have to add in flaws.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why Wolverine, because Wolverine was just supposed to be like, I think what was it? He showed up just to fight Hulk, I think in a one shot. And that
Right.
was supposed to be the end of Wolverine. But people
Right.
liked the character so much that it was introduced and like,
Yeah, then he became a part of the X-Men.
yeah. And, because I was watching X-Men on Disney, like the cartoon show, and it feels like the writers didn't know what to do with Wolverine, and me and my girlfriend were talking about it, and it's just because he comes in, Morph dies in episode 2, so Wolverine's obviously mad at and blames it on Cyclops for like Cyclops retreating, and he comes in, punches Cyclops, and is like, next time I'm gonna use my claws, and then goes and is raging and destroys Cyclops' car, and Storm comes out and it's like, hey, where are you going? You can't just leave. Like, tell Cyclops.
Cyclops, I made him a convertible.
And then he just leaves, and she looks at me like, that is such a bad line. I'm like, yeah, of course, because they don't know what to do with him. He has to be relatable to kids because we need to sell toys, but it's also Wolverine, so like, he's gonna be a dick because that's what he is, but they
Yeah.
don't know how to like mash it perfectly. And it's just,
Yeah.
now that I'm
And-
watching again, it's like, oh, this is such a bad show. Why did I love it? And then you hear the theme song, I'm like, okay, now I know why I loved it.
And even then, there are some good parts to the '90s show. Though I pretty much grew up with X-Men Evolution,
X-Men Evolution was great. I do like X-Men Evolution.
and they knew how to do. They knew what to do with Wolverine with that
Yeah.
one. Because in the comics, Wolverine becomes like a father figure to so many characters.
Yes, he
There's-
does.
Like everyone talks about Wolverine's superpowers just being like, oh, he's got the healing factor and the animal senses and the claws. Like, no, his real superpower is becoming a father figure to teenage girls.
Yeah, pretty much. Rogue and Kitty. And,
Jubilee,
yeah.
and so many, and that man gets around.
yeah, yeah, he does. Oh man.
But I also do love he has the dumbest disguise ever.
What's his disguise?
One time he like faked his death because he thought it was better to like get away from the X-Men and because people were after him.
Uh-huh.
Later he showed up in Madripoor running a casino as a dude named Patches or a dude named Patch, and it's literally just Wolverine in a white tuxedo and an eye patch.
What? For real?
For real.
I saw this thing of like, it was Wolverine in a white tuxedo with an eye patch, and he had diamond claws. and apparently like when he stabs someone with his diamond claws, he can like read their thoughts. But I thought that was like a joke.
I
I don't
don't
know.
remember the reading thoughts thing, because the
Uh-huh.
whole diamond and telepathy is kind of the Emma Frost thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's I saw that literally yesterday, and I'm like, this is such a stupid idea. Like, this is so dumb. And now that you're saying that that was a disguise, it sounds even dumber. And I love how dumb it sounds. I will never read it, but it's hilarious.
I'm actually I'm gonna post this in our
Okay.
in the voice chat text chat, because like that
Oh
is
my god.
literally
Oh my god. That's so dumb. Yeah. 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 You're not Wolverine at all.
yeah, you're totally not Wolverine.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the only guy in the world. No, there's other people who have that hairstyle.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that the comics. I mean the what was it? I'm gonna show you the what I was talking about. Not the comics. The movies still try to give Hugh Jackman like that little puff of hair,
Oh yeah, yeah they do.
which is like at first like, this looks bad, but they started toning it down a little bit, and like all right, now it looks pretty believable and it's cool. I get it.
Yeah.
And they're still throwing money at him for him to keep playing the part.
Yeah.
But he's done. He's
yeah,
done.
He doesn't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
He said Tom Hardy should do it.
which I agree. Tom Hardy's a fantastic actor.
I don't think so.
What? You don't think Tom Hardy's good at everything
think
he's
Tom
ever
Hardy's-
done?
I think Tom Hardy is a fantastic actor,
Oh, but for the part. Okay.
but for Wolverine, I think they should get someone a little bit more comic accurate, because Wolverine is as tall as Lynn.
Yeah, he's a short guy. How tall is Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy is like
Tom
6
Hardy's
foot
short.
one.
Is he? I heard he was short.
Huh.
I'm looking at it right now. He is 5'9", so he's 1 inch shorter than me.
Okay. Yeah, he's an inch shorter than me.
Schwarzenegger's shorter.
Yeah,
Have you seen Tom Hardy in The Warrior?
I have.
He is a jack boy.
I've seen Tom Hardy in Bronson.
Oh, I love Bronson. If you want to
Yeah.
see like a great display of acting, Tom Hardy in Bronson is phenomenal. Also,
Tom Hardy in anything is pretty
Yeah.
phenomenal.
there's so many movies that I've seen Tom Hardy in, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Tom Hardy. And that's when you know it's a good movie, because you see the character before you see the actor's face.
Yeah.
Also in Bronson, I watched the movie. I'm gonna say at least like 5 times. I've watched the movie with friends, just like showing it to different people. The last time that I saw it, and the scene where he douses himself in oil and is like singing, waiting for the guards to come get him. I did not know he was butt ass naked, and you saw all of Tom Hardy in that scene, like every inch of him, balls and all. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, all right then.
Yeah. Yeah, you do get a good look at Tom Hardy.
Oh,
It's kind of like Jay Davidson in the movie. God, what was it called? The Crying Game.
the crying
Yeah.
game. Okay.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
basically a guy, a reporter or something like that, falls for a beautiful woman, but it's a transvestite,
Yeah.
and he finds out when he's starting to seduce her, and it shows it all right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody
What was-
remembers that as like the big twist of the movie, but that's like
Yeah.
halfway through.
Yep, that's right.
what was the shoot, camp
Then he
summer
went
or
on to play
something?
Stargate, making Stargate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was the villain in Stargate.
Yep.
That was also the twist for the only movie that I've ever been like, oh crap, okay, that startled me a little bit. For like like in now that I'm not like past teenagers when I'm seeing, because when I was a kid and saw horror movies, Freddy. But now it's
Oh.
like Camp Summer,
Sleepaway
Camp,
Camp.
which like the twist at the end was that this
Yeah.
little girl was actually a boy.
Yeah.
That's not like the disturbing part. The disturbing part was how when he killed that last person and had their head up and it was completely naked and just looking at the camera, screaming and hissing. That is a terrifying scene. Like,
Yeah.
it is just creepy to like the next level. Just like his head hunched over and him screaming. Oh, that's some gold right there.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp was an interesting movie. They also used that twist in Ace Ventura, with the police, like the police captain being a former Dolphins kicker.
Oh, I guess I'm forgetting all that.
Yeah, like the twist of the first Ace Ventura movie. Spoilers for a 1994
Major spoiler alert.
Spoilers for a mid-90s Jim Carrey comedy. But like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, like he finds out that the murderer was this like former NFL kicker.
Oh, yes.
Who went crazy and then became a woman and was the police captain who always harassed him. They even played music from The Crying Game when he found out. And yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah. It's an alright movie. Not one of my favorites, but
I really enjoyed Ace Ventura. I have a bad time with that movie, but for personal reasons when I watched it with someone in my past. But I really enjoyed Ace Ventura.
I personally prefer the second one to the first one.
Apparently I'm not remembering much of the first. Like, all my thoughts are of the second. So that's probably... But I think I watched the second one first. So in my memory, like, that's the original of Ace Ventura. Yeah. I also do love that he just... one of my favorite bands, he listened to them and was like, what's this death metal thing? Like,
he was a huge Cannibal Corpse fan,
yeah.
So he got them into the movie.
Yeah, and when he was Letterman or Conan, he was on one of those shows, like advertising the film, and it was he was like saying like, oh yeah, the movie you have like this like metal band playing, like what's up with that? Like, and he just got so excited and like lit up, like, have you heard of them? And then he started doing like death vocals, and he actually sounded pretty good for someone who was just trying to imitate it. And I'm like, damn, all right. Have you ever thought of joining a metal band, Ace? Like, that sounds...
Jim Carrey's an interesting man.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He throws his entire body into it. I went to go watch the Sonic movie as a joke, being like, oh, this is gonna be so bad. I'm just gonna make fun of it. Like, yeah, I did not expect the Sonic movie to be good. And
I went in there expecting it to be awesome.
And I know Ace. I know that Jim Carrey's in it, so I'm like, all right, it's gonna. And it was written by one of my favorite writers, who's a great comedic. It's not written. It was voiced by a really fun comedic writer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be super cringy, and it's gonna have some moments, but I'm gonna enjoy it, but probably not for the reasons that the writers wanted me to enjoy it. I'll just have fun roasting it. And then me and my girlfriend watched it, and we both came out with smiles on our face saying, did we just enjoy the Sonic movie? Like, non-ironically, we enjoyed that movie. Like, yeah, we did.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was...
it's nothing amazing.
It's
like, it's good.
Yeah, we all thought it was going to be bad, and we all made fun of it. And then we saw how horrible the animation was. They listened to their audience, redid it, and it turned out to be an amazing movie. Well, a good
part
movie.
Of me still wants to see. A part of me still wants to see the same movie with that terrible, terrible animation.
Yeah. Just the Jim Carrey. The funniest part of the whole movie was when Jim Carrey exploded about his latte, and that was ad-libbed. And I'm like, of course it was. Like, the best moments in most movies are just, like, ad-libbed. And, like, the director just let the camera roll.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the best moments are just complete off the cuff lines.
Yeah.
Like again, another movie ad lib that's just fantastic is Thor Ragnarok. Actually, a lot of that was improv.
Yeah, that's what Taika
Um,
Waititi said.
but my favorite bit of improv is the story that Thor tells about him and Loki when they were kids. So one time he turned into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes, so I picked it up to admire it, and he turned back into himself and was like, "Ah, it's me!" And then he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
Yeah. Going back to what Dickie said earlier, like people have way too much time on their hands. I read a conspiracy thing that that version of Loki was the actual Loki who killed Thor because that child Loki that like in that variant's timeline when he stabbed Thor, that's when he killed him. See, it's all like one gigantic thing. They thought of this so many years ago. Like, no, it was like a throwaway line that was funny, and you know. There is Kid Loki, so like just
Kid Loki is a thing.
Yeah.
But in that universe, if that is how that is, that's cool. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but like if the fact that Loki killed Thor and that's why he's a variant, and then why couldn't it be that story?
Yeah. Why couldn't it be?
It may not be planned, but like, it's a cool coincidence, and why not? It's a happy little accident.
Happy little accident. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, happy accidents. All right. Well, we're at that time, so I'm gonna ask you guys a question, to end it off. So Tiki and Shane. Give us one piece of content, media, some entertainment that we should look into, whether it be book, comic, movies, whatever, podcast.
Well, you know where I'm going to go with that.
Oh,
so that's not fair.
Give me a thing. Give me a thing. Let the audience know of a thing that you really enjoy.
Gosh, really, I mean, I'm mostly been involved in writing and role playing games. There's hardly anything I'm watching. I've been really catching up with old shows more than anything. Like Battlestar Galactica. Finally watched that from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
The first series or the second one?
The second one, the one with Starbuck was a woman.
Yeah, and
it depends what you like. If you like fantasy and sci-fi and stuff like that, you could pick a dime a dozen of those. But if you're looking for a show that characters, I mean, like Game of Thrones was great because not so much it had dragons, which was like 10% of the movie. It just shows it was the characters that drove that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I'm watching Last Kingdom on Netflix. Is also it's about England before it unified, and the main character was raised as a Brit. He was the son of a king. He was kidnapped by the Vikings. He was raised a Viking, so he kind of lived them. Yes. And it is a great show.
You recommended me that, and I will let you know that, yes, 100%, it is a great show. Yes.
And then Longmire was a good one. And on the same vein of that is Yellowstone's probably one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life as far as
my dad's a big fan of Yellowstone.
Oh, my God. It is amazing. It is really amazing. I mean, if you really want to
from what I've seen, it's really good.
It's good. Yeah. So I highly recommend those two.
All right, awesome.
So I'm gonna recommend a few comic books to all y'all. And they're not anything from DC or Marvel. One is an Image comic I really love called Bitter Root. it's about this family of like monster hunters in the 1920s. The art style is basically steampunk meets the Harlem Renaissance.
Wow.
It's such a cool, just visually interesting series, and like it's mostly black creative team. The family, the main characters are this black family. It's even like hinted at in the first volume that the Tulsa massacre was caused by these monsters that
Hmm.
Oh,
it's basically are created when people's souls turn dark. So with so
okay.
a lot of the monsters are either like racist white folks who like let their hate consume them and turn them into monsters, or uh, or like one of the villains is a survivor of the Tulsa massacres and uh, has become something else because his desire for revenge has transformed him. Uh,
Gotcha.
Another one that I really love is called Once and Future, and that's from Boom Studio. It was, and that one is about a man and his grandmother, who are in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in Scotland, but some some British nationalists find the scabbard to Excalibur and bring Arthur back to life. But the thing is, the prophecy of the once and future king, Arthur will come back in Britain's darkest hour.
Yeah.
That's a prophecy that can be taken two ways. Either he comes back to save England from its darkest hour, or in this case, his coming causes its darkest hour.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So the villain of this story is basically a resurrected, lichified King Arthur. And it's just this really interesting series. Like the first issue, you see the Quest Beast,
Oh,
and the
cool.
design is fantastic.
Cool.
The art by Dan Mora is just, oh, so good. And
Nice.
both really great series to check out. The first couple volumes are are available in trade. So if you ever want to go down to your old local comic book store and pick them up, they're really good.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I like that, especially because we're doing a King Arthur campaign.
Yeah.
If I had a pick, and this is new to me, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Jodie Foster is the main actress in the movie, not Silence of the Lambs. The girl who lived in something street. It's starring like 13-year-old Jodie Foster. Um, oh my god, I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Taxi driver?
No,
The Girl Down the Lane.
Yes, thank you. The girl down the lane. So, Cindy introduced it to me. She's saying like this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm like, okay. So it starts out that Jodie Foster is living in this house by herself, and there is like it's Halloween, and this dude just walks in and is like, oh, you're by yourself. Like obviously, like huge red flags. Like this guy's a perv, trying to like get this 13-year-old girl to sleep with him, and Jodie Foster just like stands her ground and like kicks him out. And I have not finished watching it. I'm almost done, and just because time and commitments. But like the whole town knows that this dude's a pedophile, but does nothing about it. And Jodie Foster is not taking anybody's shit, and like she befriends this boy and like they're being cutesy together, and like this creeper of a dude comes back and it's like, all right, boy, you need to leave. Like me and her need like our time by ourselves, and the kid has like a messed up leg, and so the older guy like uses that to his advantage to overpower the kid, and as soon as he's leaving, and he's like, see, you were defeated in combat by me, so get the hell out of here, kid. The kid has a cane, and he takes off the cane and fucking it draws a sword and puts it to the creepo's neck, and I literally jumped out of my seat like, fuck yeah! I forgot what the kid's name was, like Dominique or Diego or something. Like, fuck yeah, Diego! Fuck that guy! And Cindy looked at me, she's like, wow, you really like this movie? I'm like, yeah! Fucking Jodie Foster's a boss. Diego's a badass. Fuck this creeper guy. Of course I like this movie. So, that's what I
You fit in
recommend.
Puerto Rico real well because people always talk to the movies there.
Wait,
One quick movie I forgot to mention is
Yeah.
on Netflix called Old Guard, which
Oh.
is
Yeah, it's
very
based
good.
on a comic book.
Yes, it is excellent.
I also I recommend the movie and the comic. Like the comic's great.
And wait for the second one to come out because you know they left it hanging.
Yeah. I will admit. Oh God, what's his name? Nick, or
Yeah.
Nico?
Mhm.
No. The Greek character in the comics. Oh my God, his nose.
Oh God.
It's like a very 90s style artwork for it. So like he has a honker. but like that's such a great great movie. I love The Old Guard. Love me some Charlize Theron.
Yes. Yes.
Oh
Nice.
man.
Well, that's some good recommendations. A lot of things to watch, read, and enjoy. I guess that's gonna do it for tonight's podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming, just hanging out. We don't do this as much as I really would want to.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
life, and as much as we have a lot of fun playing these games and doing all this stuff for you guys, but it's work at the end of the day, quote unquote work. It does take time, so
Yeah.
just sitting down having a beer sometimes is not in the cards for that week. But all right, love you guys so much. Please take care of one another. Be safe. Follow all our social medias. Links. Go buy Dickie's book. Go support all the artists and friends that we have. We love you. Take care. Adios, everybody.
Yep.
Bye.
Peace out.